Hi, I'm Eric Wareheim.
And I'm Tim Heidecker.
Motherfucking Tim and Eric.
Oh, yeah!
Present a motion picture so epic.
I want to eat that fucking heart! Yeah! Yes,
It will leave you in shock.
You better not tell me this movie cost $1 billion.
Nah, nothing costs $1 billion. But I bet
Monopoly
you they
money.
They'll make $1 billion in Monopoly money.
Exactly.
All right, if this movie makes $1 billion, I will kill myself.
Well, maybe more like pesos.
I will not kill myself if it makes $1 billion pesos. Let me just be clear about that.
Or
right
rupees.
now.
Or what money do they use in Russia? What was that? I forgot.
If this movie makes $1 billion pesos, the ceiling cat will come and take me away.
Well, any executive realizing that they spent $1 billion on this fucking movie, after watching this film, they're going to take a gun, point it straight up their ass so the bullet penetrates their asshole and their fucking brain at the same time. Just to get rid of this nightmare of this fucking atrocious film.
Well, now,
entitled Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
Now, let's be honest. I'd be shocked if this movie cost more than $5 million.
Let's see if I got it.
I mean, they might have bilked somebody out of paying them more than
$3
that.
million.
$3 million,
was
okay.
the cost.
Yeah,
And sure enough, it's one of those things that even though there's a few celebrities in here, they're just buddies with these guys,
Yeah.
Tim and Eric, apparently, because they appear on the no-budget TV show all the time. So, and they're actors who are like, I don't know if you call them all A-list. Jeff Goldblum is certainly not A-list
He was at
anymore.
one time. He's recognizable. He's a household name.
Yeah, he was the Hebrew heartthrob at one point.
Is that what they called him?
Yeah, I've heard him called that. But John C. Reilly,
John
Will
C.
Ferrell,
Reilly is way A-list now.
and Will Ferrell can definitely make a lot of money with his movies, or maybe he's on the way down. But still,
And would you consider Zach Galifianakis
he's
A-list right now, since
right
he
now.
seems to be everywhere?
that seems like the biggest gimmick these guys got going from that they're two jackasses that nobody knows who do this quote unquote comedy, and yet they get these big name actors to appear in their TV shows and now their movie.
Which is embarrassing. It's a trend that I'm really, really starting to hate.
Yeah.
It's funny because I normally in sketch comedy like absurdist sketch stuff that goes from one thing to the other on loosely held threads. I mean, Mr. Show functioned on that.
Oh,
Monty
absolutely.
Python did. But this is like absurd comedy if it was written by a 3-year-old who likes to play with his own feces.
Cyrus, see, that's because you an old man. This is the new wave of comedy. They're taking comedy to the next evolution, to an evolution to where comedy is like not even funny anymore. It's like funny.
Anyone know where I can?
So passe.
Anyone know where I can pick up a gun and point it right up my asshole? I'm ready to check out.
The sad thing is some people actually agree with that statement.
Oh, I know.
Like the Onion AV Club, who I tend to agree with more than I don't, but they gave they gave it a B+, and they said, I quote, feels genuinely dangerous and transgressive. It makes a virtue of going way too far because other comedies don't go far enough.
Oh
like,
my
what
God.
what are you talking about? Are you a crazy person? I don't understand. Like, I don't want to live in this world anymore.
I know, right?
Where this has anything more than like a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Who wrote that? The janitor from fucking that group? What? I don't get it. They give him $20.
It must have been anonymous. I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah.
They got hacked.
Smart move.
Well, welcome to my world. I've lived long enough to watch things that were generally considered awful become praised.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what has this world come to? And praised for so long that I eventually have to go like, yeah, it is great. I see what's going on now.
Well, the thing is, you always have that one friend who fits in that category of watching things that are so awful that to them it goes beyond that point into absurd art or just so awful that it's funny unto itself because of its awfulness, that they feel the need to share it to you because this is something that they consider special.
And to that, see, when you say something like that, I know there's hipster people out there, or comedy hipsters, who go like, that's what I'm talking about, something avant-garde, performance art. That's what I want. This sounds like what I want. And I would say to you, I've seen those things that you're talking about, things that, maybe they're outside my wheelhouse, but I can recognize that they are something daring. There's nothing daring here.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a lot of lame comedy and shock value stuff.
And words that get repeated over and 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 over.
And how many times?
Yeah, and over and over, over and over.
See, that's the
Sorry,
part of the
turn the TV off. I'm tired of watching Tim and Eric.
That's part of the joke I just don't get. It's like they think it's hysterical to have someone just do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until it would be completely dull in any other context. And guess what? It still is in this context.
Yeah, the idea that you do it so much that it's annoying, but the fact that you're doing it so much makes it funny. But actually, that kind of bit is about 10 years old.
Yeah.
So it's become lame again, fellas. Well, I mean, I know you guys think that you're on the edge, but you're not. I mean, wait at one time, but not anymore.
I feel like I would have been at least not as in hate with this film if they had followed the format of the show, which was a bunch of very short sketches. There's just scattershot, boom, whole bunch of stuff. If you're lucky, one of those things might make you go, okay, that was kind of funny. I chuckled because it was so bizarre. But no, this is one long story they've got here, which is like, all right, think for yourself out there, Spillland. If you're one of those people who are like, no, I kind of like Tim and Eric's, imagine your favorite Tim and Eric sketch ever. Now imagine that sketch in a full hour and a half, and then you've got Tim and Eric's the movie.
See, I always think it is, think about watching Tim and Eric, and you love that show, and there's one part that you really fucking hated. Imagine that part running for fucking an hour and a half.
The problem for me is that whenever I've watched Tim and Eric, I've hated the entire show. Like, there's never a part of it that I like some of it. None of it. Hate those guys. Hate their comedy. I hate the way it just kind of trails off. And it's like where they kind of blow off like, oh, punchlines. That's your dad's comedy. We don't do punchlines anymore.
We're clearly the perfect crew to review this film.
but I have friends who tell me, even Corey is like, I don't know, I think some of their sketches are funny. I even have a guy who loves them, and I hate the show.
Yeah.
Now,
me too.
That said, watching this, I was like, you know what? As much as I hate this show, the fact that they are having to buckle down and not do so much random shit, and I have this playing in the background while I'm doing something else, I found myself not quite getting angry about it.
Yeah.
Like there's no part of me that likes it. Yeah. All I can say is, it didn't make me angry the way watching this show makes me angry.
So the sequence with a bunch of small children shitting diarrhea into a tub that was gradually filling up as Eric started almost inhaling their diarrhea poo didn't make you angry at all? It went on for 10 minutes?
You didn't let me finish my sentence.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it up to that point.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry, sir.
Because okay,
did I mention that at the same time Tim was being fucked by a strap-on by a 64-year-old woman? Did I mention that? That it was flashing back and forth?
You know what? Honestly, when you say it like that, it sounds kind of funny.
You would think, how can you fuck that up?
The thing is, I've always hated their celebrity cameos that they've had on this show, because I'd be like, oh, it's John C. Reilly, or oh, it's Jeff Goldblum. And I watch, I'm like, wow, they just got them up here looking like fools.
Yeah.
Now, with this movie, it starts out with their first celebrity cameo is Zach Galifianakis. And he is fucking awful. Like, as much as I hated him in Due Date, even more so this character here.
Oh, yeah, this is the worst.
It's the worst. Just half thought out, have him dressed like an Indian. Let's make fun of these things that we aren't really committed to. I hate this non-committal comedy. But later, when they meet up with Will Ferrell is one of those times when he was actually making me laugh. I like his character alone, or the way he was pulling it off. I was like, you know what? I'm going to catch shit, but I'm actually laughing at this part. Now, I can't say I ever laughed at anything else in the movie.
Okay. Well, the thing about Will Ferrell is it's just short enough.
Yes.
That, I mean, it's the smallest cameo probably in the film. You're like, okay, maybe that's going to play into something actually funny later. The only way that it is funny is that you're like, what just happened?
Right.
Which is a lot of this movie.
Well, Will Ferrell's there to get the plot kicked off,
which we haven't even talked about yet. So let's say what that is. Tim and Eric, Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim playing themselves. They're given $1 billion to make a movie by the Schlang Corporation, but they totally fuck it up. They spend it on just any number of stupid
a suit made of diamonds.
Yeah, just a huge stack of unrealistic. Crazy shit that you have to go, all right, that's funny.
Oh, look, they're dressed up like the Jersey Shore.
You have to control yourself from yelling out the scream, okay, I get it!
Yeah, they're given, I can't remember what the deadline was, but a very short period of time to pay back $1 billion to this company that is... Who is the guy? Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia.
Loggia, playing sort of a mobster film producer guy. Is like, I'll kill them if they don't. So they skip town looking for a way to pay the money back, in which is they see a commercial with Will Ferrell saying, saying, hey, run my mall. You'll make $1 billion. They go, we could do that. We could run a mall. They form a little corporation and go there presenting themselves saying, okay, we want it on the mall. Will Ferrell goes, great. See you later. Yeah. The mall is, in fact, like apocalypse. It's like there's
wolves
running around it. There's homeless guys sleeping in the middle of it.
I don't know if you guys remember that scene in Terminator where you see a bunch of people like hanging out in the sewers, like by little coffee can fires and stuff like that. That's what this mall looks like.
Oh yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, exactly like that. John C. Reilly plays like
Taquito.
Taquito. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be like Will Ferrell's son or something. It wasn't really clear.
Yeah, you can't tell if he's his son or just some guy. I want to say kid, but shit, John C. Reilly's about 50 years old. Yeah, but he hangs out the mall.
Yeah, he lives at the mall, and he's like perpetually like fatally ill from unknown sickness.
Yeah,
it's a joke that gets old.
It's one of those like, hey, we got a sick guy, and anytime we can think of a sick joke, let's just pile it on.
Yeah. So basically, they've got to figure out a way to save the mall and bring it back to life.
Come on down to the grand reopening of the Swallow Valley Mall.
I'll be there. My best friend Tim Heidecker will be there.
You're gonna like what you see. Ooh, you're gonna like the fake trees. Ooh, you're gonna like all our new stores. Ooh, you're gonna like meeting my new son, Jeffrey.
I'm gonna murder myself if you don't come down to my new fucking mall.
Come on down to the grand reopening of the Swallow Valley Mall.
My dad told me this is the coolest mall ever. You think you know more than my dad? Don't fucking come then.
It's the grand reopening of the Swallow Valley Mall. It's just off Route 35, right here in historic Swallow Valley.
The whole time, is it Tim who's the big one or Eric who's the big one?
Tim is the little one.
All right, Eric is in love with a girl he saw in the commercial who works in the mall, played by what's her name? Erica Durance, who's an old soap opera actress. That's the one who's like.
Oh wait, no. Erica Durance is from Smallville.
Yes, she was Lois Lane on Smallville.
Who's the one I'm thinking of then?
I don't even know if she's in the credits on it.
Twink Kaplan, that's her name.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, who's like an old. She was in Clueless and Look Who's Talking movies.
Jesus.
You know? Yeah.
And now she's here.
Yeah, now she's here. And like I said, she's like 64 or something. So it's like, it's not what you call a romance you want to see play itself out.
No.
But it does.
But it does eventually. Anyway, so he's trying to hit on Mac on her, and Tim is trying. I don't know what Tim's trying. Oh yeah, he's forcibly adopted the son of one of the guys who used to run a store.
The janitor, I think.
Who he forces to be the janitor.
Oh my God.
It's that weird, like, pedophilic joke there that you're like, why are you doing this?
Oh no.
What?
With you telling me this,
yeah.
I have no recollection of any of that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like any goodwill I have toward this film was because I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, well, I can't blame you.
Wait till the end of this review.
I actually sat in front of the screen, forcing myself not to get up and just to watch this fucking thing, going like.
It was really hard. This is the first film where I was like, okay, because I've only seen one episode of Tim and Eric, so I'm not even going to get into the TV show and what I think about it. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, that was funny, that was stupid, and I just left it at that. And I'm like, okay, but watching this was so goddamn hard to sit through because you just saw a bunch of like sketches kind of piled together that just were not working at all, and they were using cheap gimmicks, cheap tricks with the repeating the shit over and over, looping the dialogue over and over, like out of nowhere, where I'm like, wow, you guys are really you're wearing it on your sleeve that you're really desperate for a laugh. But then again, when I realized, oh wait, this is kind of the concept of the show, fuck, it made it sitting there realizing that I'm like, I'm going to have to endure more of this. And I'm only into the first like 15 minutes of the movie.
It's funny, like, you know how much I hate when people throw around the term pretentious. I do, because people overuse it like crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
But what it actually means is like being arty for arty's sake, or weird for weird's sake. Like you have no hidden motive, you have no reason to anything you're saying with it. You're just like, let's put this in here. That'd be weird, and then we can pretend like we're important because of it. This is the very definition of Tim and Eric, and they don't make any bones about it. The fact that they're like, hey, none of this means absolutely anything. It's just we thought this was goofy and weird looking, so we decided to loop it about 30 times.
Yeah. It's when it comes to comedy or anything art wise, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. This new trend of it's almost like, oh, you actually have passion about what you do, you care. dummy.
Yeah.
It's all like, we'll just throw in crazy shit because, hey, we live in a world where, you kids are like us. You've seen everything that's come in civilization before. What a joke. Let's just make fun of it all and not really commit to any of it. And I'm like, fine, fuck off and go do that somewhere else.
And wouldn't it even be funnier if we actually get an actual celebrity from the past and make them do the most crazy, outlandish shit that you never imagined he would even attempt to do on screen? How awesome is that?
How awesome is that?
It's apocalyptic, absurdist cynicism. Is what it is, You're just like, it's the end times of comedy.
It really is. I mean, if you thought Carrot Top committed crimes against comedy, I'm like, wait till you watch this shit. if you're lucky enough.
There were times when I thought, you know what? Here in this scene, if they actually sat down to write some genuine jokes, they could have made some of this funny. But they couldn't be bothered to do that.
No. I mean, well, that's like their fans of the show wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
Scratching their heads like, they're selling out. They actually wrote a joke.
It's like if you were playing a game and you realize you couldn't win, so you just start acting goofy and bouncing around and throwing the ball into the stands.
Yeah.
And so once it was over, it's like, well, of course he lost because he was acting like a clown. It's like, yeah, because he was a big coward.
Yeah.
You couldn't just get out there, do your best, take your lumps if you fail. Or what? No, they don't have time for that.
But the thing is, with a movie like this, I can appreciate just the whole idea of making a film and even incorporating comedy into it because, I mean, comedy is never easy.
Sure.
Some people make it. It's always like the hardest thing. And that's why a lot of these comedians, they have all kinds of fucking problems, and that's where their comedy stems from. And there's a reason for that. These guys, I mean, watching this made me really appreciate, not only like with people who actually try to incorporate real comedy, like something to like really make you laugh and think, but
like Spill.com.
Exactly, yes, exactly. That's the words are just you just vomit them out, yeah. But looking at a filmmaking aspect as far as a movie like this, because watching this, it made me appreciate a film company like Troma Films, to where you can almost put a Troma film side by side, and you can see how Troma just sells it better than these guys do, because Troma is trying to make something outrageous, but they're being committed to it.
Yes, they are.
They're committed to the idea and the outrageousness, but they do it so well that it makes sense in the idea of what they're trying to get across. This seems like, I was like, okay, maybe I'll have the same feeling with this like I did a Troma film, where it's bad acting. Some of this shit is really like just over the top, outrageous. But here it's like, wow, they just took the idea of like the grossest thing they can possibly come up with and just throw it right in front of you. Like they just took a shit, threw it right in front of you, and now it's up to you to decide if this is funny or not.
If there's a script on any level, it was like about as big as the synopsis on Wikipedia, which is one short paragraph. Like
is that right?
2 or 3
it
sentences,
is, you're
right. Because everything else just felt like a couple of, like I said, 13-year-old boys who are like, all right, what are we going to do next? Well, okay, let's film this, and let's have this happen next. Okay, that sounds fine. Yeah. I don't get it, but sure.
And the thing is, I'm having like a real struggle, because it's like, in some ways, to the fans of this show, you want to be fair,
Sure.
I wish we had a fan of the show to do his review with us, but
yeah. Well, the thing is, I talked to several fans who enjoyed this show, and I was actually glad to hear back that they hated it. They couldn't stand it.
I was going to say the same thing. I've talked to several fans of the show, and I only know one who didn't hate it. Mm-hmm. He liked it, but everybody else was just like, screw that.
Yeah. Wow.
The thing is,
who is that guy so we can go beat him up?
You know him too. I mean, with everything we said, like I said, I probably didn't have, it wasn't a hemorrhoid to me like it was to you guys, but I set it up in circumstances to keep that from happening. But
like falling asleep and waking up.
Well, you know what? I actually didn't fall asleep in this one. That's usually my method for getting out of it. But like I said, because I have such vitriol for the show, I came in. When I say I was expecting the worst, you don't know the worst I was expecting. I was expecting Serbian film, and it managed to be
close,
a little bit above that. But also, I look at it. You know what? This movie is short. It's really short, and it's so cheap. I'm like, you know what? People like normally I don't want to make a call to action, say go see this, don't see that. I would tell you not to go see this, in as much as everything about it screams they're going to show it on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
It seems like it was made for Cartoon Network, and they just went, let's just send it around the festivals and see what happens.
Yeah, it's actually getting a theatrical release, like a general limited release. So,
right.
Yeah, might be in your town for you not to go see.
So because I really didn't like it, but just didn't get angry, I'm just going to simply give it some old bullshit.
Wow. Okay. Well, once again, I'll do a Tim and Eric skit. And my rating is fuck you, 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 fuck you.
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't want to be too harsh on this film because I didn't hate it as much as, say, Human Centipede 2. So I'm only going to give it a fuck you. Because we have never came up with a rating low enough for Human Centipede 2. But geez, this is just, why? Yeah. Why are you guys doing this? We need an intervention for these actors who keep helping them.
Right.
You're just enabling them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to grab these two and just throw them in a fucking bathtub and actually just start taking a shit on them and filling the bathtub.
It's hysterical,
with shit.
Isn't it?
Yeah, just go, isn't this hilarious, guys?
Yeah.
Isn't this great?
But see, if you did that, they'd have cameras set up.
Real quick.
They'd have cameras set up, and they just show it as the next episode.
Yeah, that's probably
and they'd make a
the funniest episode they've ever had.
They'd make $1 billion movie 2.
Yeah.
Oh, what hath thou wrought out of thy asshole, co-host?
Laugh.
Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
That's it.
That's our movie.
I paid $1 billion for that piece of shit.